Alright guys, the time is now for another entry in our Community Cast series. In this match, we're going to have a showdown between the Dwarves, who are going to be led by Imais, and the High Elves, who are going to be helmed by Evenstar. So the first thing you guys are probably going to notice is the massive amount of the Trollhammer torpedoes. So in total, I think the Dwarves do have 1, 2, and I think there was like a third and a fourth group even. It looks like there's going to be 3 in total. So yeah, 3 groups of the Irondrakes with the Trollhammer torpedoes. So these bad boys have pretty good armor-piercing values. I mean, even if they sit and shoot at like White Lions and Swordmasters, they can actually do some pretty good damage. But their true value really lies, of course, in things like Dragon Princes, Silver Helms, and of course going after the big High Elf Dragons. So I'm quite eager to see how the Dwarves are able to use these bad boys in this replay here. Aside from that, in the front line, it looks like the Dwarves do have some miners in the deep vanguard, and this is definitely a pretty good tactic. You just put the miners up in front of the opponent's army, and honestly, with their decent armor values, and miners actually don't have like terrible leadership considering how cheap they are, and that's one of the best things about the Dawi in general is that even their cheaper infantry do tend to last some time. So he's going to put the miners with blasting charges up here, probably get some blasting charges on some of these troops in the front. And if the High Elves are going to be aggressive against him, he can either absorb ammunition with this miner, or he can just kind of muck up the charge. And really, these guys only cost, I think, 400 gold with the blasting charges, so not bad. He does have the Runesmith and the Rune Lord, pretty much the standard competitive kit here for the Dwarves. It's very tough to win with the other Dwarf Lords because typically they kind of... they're like Grimgor, right? They're just going to be kind of fighting in the front line, and it's really hard for them to get on those ideal targets, especially when you're facing off against High Elves, who I would imagine have a mounted lord somewhere. Well, it looks like Alarielle here, but she does have 36 speed, whereas most Dwarf Lords, I think, are like 32 or 34 in that range, so they wouldn't be able to catch her anyways. Aside from that, we do have Dwarf Warriors with great weapons here, and it looks like Dwarf Warriors with great weapons across the entire front, which is pretty good. They do an okay job. Yeah, they'll get beaten by White Lions. Obviously, their stats are quite a bit lower, but they put up a good fight for their cost. But more importantly, they buy time for your tools in the back, like your Irondrakes and your cannons to do the heavy lifting. Hammer is here. It looks like we do have a cannon as well. So the cannon's going to be facing off against 3 of the bolt throwers. So 3 Eagle Claw bolt throwers, which are very good at sniping artillery. Definitely going to be very tough for the Dawi. In the back, he's got Dwarf Warriors guarding it, the Dragonback Slayers, and I believe he does also have Norgrimlings lurking somewhere. It looks like, yeah, up here, Norgrimlings. They're going to be behind those Dwarf Warriors, and he does also have 1 group of Hammers, which you don't see terribly often. So quite excited to see those specialist Dawi in action. For the forces of the High Elves, looks like we're going to have 4 archers in the front line, 5 archers. And archers actually aren't terrible against dwarves. A lot of dwarf players will, of course, bring slayers, and sometimes you do see things like rangers. So the archers are going to be okay in that respect, and they have really good range, just decent volume of fire. So if you really want to take out something, let's say some great weapon units, you usually can focus them down pretty effectively. But what I like archers for, if I'm going to use them, typically when I play High Elves against dwarves, I don't know if I really use too many archers. I usually just go with like mass infantry and a bunch of cav, but you could probably take out slayers pretty effectively just with their range. So aside from that, he has pretty standard stuff elsewhere. He does have 3 bolt throwers, which I guess isn't terribly standard, but on top of that, he does have the Swordmasters of Hoeth and the White Lions, which are really going to be the backbone of this army. These bad boys, in conjunction with the healing of the Everqueen, or Alarielle the Radiant, whatever her name is over here, is going to be pretty strong. And she does have the Star of Averlarn. It looks like no, she actually just has Earthblood and Frost Protection. So it looks like the High Elves went as cheap as possible on their Lord, but I mean, she still has the heal, which is going to be nice, but yeah, very, very cheap on that Lord. That's pretty much it, guys. So let's get this show on the road. So the High Elves are going to be advancing. The bolt throwers look like they're going to be going downtown, trying to snipe the cannon out, I think. Yeah, they're going to be going after the cannon. And if there's 3 of those bad boys focusing the cannon, they're easily going to be able to do some work there. So the archers are going to be focusing down the miners, which isn't a terrible situation for the dwarves. Miners still do have 80 armor, and of course it's going to waste quite a bit of ammunition, which in a very long War of Vengeance style game, which is going to be, of course, High Elves versus dwarves, the battle's going to go, I would say, pretty long. So it's nice to be able to waste some of this archer ammunition. The Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin doing massive damage against the Swordmasters of Hoeth. It looks like it takes out 2 models and does about 35% HP damage on those guys. So very, very good stuff. And the Irondrakes in the meantime are going to be sitting in the back, just being a little bit patient, maybe waiting for the archers to kind of unload on the front line before they advance. But yeah, the dwarves kind of have to advance here because the cannon, of course, did it lose all 3 of its pieces already? Yeah, it did. Wow. Those bolt throwers did pretty good. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, I was going to say, like, I saw the crew, like, away from the cannon, so I assumed they did, but very, very good play here by the dwarves. They actually detached their cannon crew, hid in the forest, and then are now re-engaging, which is some very beautiful play. So the dwarves are taking some pretty heavy damage on the approach. The archers are actually doing okay work against the dwarf warriors, but their armor really just kind of coming in for them there. And it looks like Evenstar is going to be pulling back the White Lions and now engaging with the Swordmaster. So a nice little switcheroo, and her Earthblood's going to be going down. But oh no, the Trollhammer torpedoes coming from downtown, raining some Dawi thunder on these guys. And man, that did a ton of damage. Look at that, just melting those guys. That's something to think about, right? I mean, I usually go with Thunders, but maybe the Trollhammer torpedoes might not be bad. Maybe just mix in 1. It's definitely very cool. So some of these Dwarf Warriors on the flanks are going to be collapsed on by these White Lions, which is going to be a little bit tough. And the Pigeon Queen, without her pigeon, is going to be here fighting the Rune Lord. And the Rune Lord, He's probably definitely. Well, she has pretty damn good combat stats. 47, 67, 300. But again, like, she's going to just bounce off his armor, especially considering she does magic damage. So the Hammer's in the middle, getting pounded pretty damn hard by the White Lions, who do have the Foz protection, which really helps compensate for the lack of their martial prowess as the battle does drag on here. On the far side, the Northernlings Ironbreakers have been engaged against White Lions, and it looks like they're definitely taking a pretty cost-inefficient trade. I don't know if there's any other elements to this fight, but the Ironbreakers, unfortunately, are being cut down by the White Lions here. For the Dwarves, that is, and they're holding pretty well. But the High Elves are doing a pretty good job just keeping their missile line firing. You can see he's kind of split his forces, and he is going to be shooting Dwarf Warriors right now, so he definitely should switch that onto maybe the Iron Drakes or some of those other units that do not have shields. And over here, he's making the correct choice. He's going to be shooting at the Dragonback Slayers, which is great, because even though they do have the equivalent of bronze shields, these bad boys do have 0 armor, so every arrow that hits them is going to do pretty devastating damage. But the Ironbreaker is holding pretty firm. They might be able to pull that out magically, but no, probably not, because the Overwatch fire from the archers is coming in and doing some pretty good work. So the Rune of Wrath and Ruin, the Master Rune, going down on the Swordmasters, helping to finish them off and allow those Dwarf Warriors to actually win that fight. Rune Lord is going to be leading the charge, and the Iron Drakes are still online, but it looks like the High Elves have gotten into the back line. Some cannon fire is going to be coming downtown on the Swordmasters, but if they get on top of these guys, these Iron Drakes, that's going to suck pretty bad. But you can see the Dwarves are going to be pulling these guys back and running and getting a little bit of crossfire coming in and shooting these guys, and man, they literally just get like just eviscerated by those Trollhammer torpedoes, which is pretty awesome. But over here, Swordmasters again pushing through, so very good play by the Elf here, just pushing through and trying to get on top of the Dawi. And the Dawi do have some reserves, well, I wouldn't even call them reserves, but some units that did route and are coming back. But aside from that, I don't think they have any other reinforcements over here. And it looks like the High Elf Archer line is pretty happy. I mean, there are still some remnants of the Dwarf army fighting. You can see the Dwarf Warriors here going pretty hard, but White Lions are cleaning them up. The Rune Lord is amongst the archers, but he doesn't really have the damage output to shut down all these guys. And the Runesmith is in the exact same situation over here, so a little bit of tricky stuff. Norgoblins Ironbreakers in the meantime are going to be fighting against these. They're still going strong, they're still steady. And even though they were like fighting a great weapon unit and their AP is pretty low, they were still able to put up a fight despite taking the archer. So without the archer Overwatch, they clearly would have won that 1v1. But still, I would say that was a pretty good trade for the White Lions. Now the balance of power is a little bit in favor of the High Elves. The Dragonback Slayers are falling back. And the Dwarves overall just need to do a bit of a tactical retreat. And the High Elf ammunition looks pretty healthy. I mean, you have about 40% on this archer, about 25% here, 25% here. And yeah, I mean, all these bolt throws are still online. So the Dwarves are going to be taking so much fire as they try and retreat here. And let's kind of take inventory of what the Dwarves have left. So we have some Iron Drakes with the Trollhammer torpedoes here. We got the Dragonback Slayers who are proudly finishing off these Swordmasters who are getting blasted by the Iron Drakes as well. The cannon in the back is pretty healthy with good ammunition and a couple remnants of the Dwarven army, 25 hammers and 34 Dwarf Warriors back there. Over here, we do have the Runesmith. I mean, these guys are super tanky at the very least. 120 and 120 armor on both of these. And all these archers have terrible armor piercing, so they're just pretty much hitting for almost the minimum damage that they have here. Yeah, these guys are going to be going proud. Hopefully they're able to survive that. In the back, there are some Dwarf Warriors coming back, and if you look at the High Elf army, there is something interesting about it. It does not have really any infantry left. I mean, there is this one group of the White Lions who got smacked with the Master Rune of Wrath and Ruin, but they're not going to be of much use probably. But, oh man, this Rune Lord's getting really low, and the Pigeon Queen's coming in. It looks like she wants some blood. She's coming in with her cane. She does have the Foz protection, so it looks like she is indeed preparing for combat. Yeah, the High Elves don't really have too many infantry left, so if the Dawi are able to get up here, I mean, yeah, I guess there's still two groups of White Lions, but the Dragonback Slayer's coming in with the Master Rune support. Oh, and that cannon just tearing down the formation. It's doing huge damage, and these guys are at 8 leadership. You can see that the Dragonback Slayers are just piling in, and the White Lions actually break from that cannon and that rune fire. And now there's also some Dwarf infantry coming back. And, you know, as the archers get lower and lower on ammo, it kind of opens up an avenue for the Dwarves to potentially come back. Trollhammer torpedoes are going to be bombarding into these archers, and Trollhammer torpedoes do have 125 armor. These guys are like straight up meant for fighting like trolls and Skaven in the tunnels. They are ready to party. And yeah, the Runesmith and the Rune Lord are just kind of running around, just Benny Hilling, just happy, taking arrows. Of course, very happy with their armor. So 85 armor on these Dwarf Warriors is helping to mitigate some of the archer fire. And as far as the ammunition of the archers, they're pretty much all almost empty. There's still plenty of ammunition left on the bolt throwers, but the bolt throwers are in a bit of a compromising position in that if the Dwarves can just push up into the archers, they'll also shut down the Eagle Claw bolt throwers. The Pigeon Queen is going to be taking some Trollhammer torpedoes. You can see she takes some pretty substantial damage. Some of the Dwarf Warriors are going to be rushing in to intercept the White Lions, and it looks like the Hammer of Carrick Draz has been popped, so it's going to lower their melee attack to pretty much 0. But the Foz protection really just making them super tanky, so it's pretty much the movable object. And it's like, hey, you can snap the expression goes. The Trollhammer torpedo doing some pretty heavy damage against those guys. Some White Lions are coming back in, some Swordmasters of Hoeth, but I feel like they're probably just going to get taken out by the Trollhammer torpedoes on the approach. The Rune Lord and the Runesmith are still fighting over here. The Runesmith is in a bit of a duel versus the Radiant one. And where is the Rune Lord? Did he actually go down? He might have. The Rune Lord might have gone down there. He might have gotten crossfire pretty bad. I have a feeling that's what happened. The Dwarfs are pulling ahead in the balance of power. They're very patient play of keeping those hammers back there and just kind of waiting for the other troops to waste their ammunition, then pulling them back in. I mean, yes, they're a little bit surrounded by archers, but they're still getting some decent kills. The Dragonback Slayers, of course, fighting to the bitter end. Runesmith is in good shape, but the Trollhammer torpedoes have a ton of ammo, and I don't know if there's enough AP to really take them down. But you can see the High Elves here are going to be switching their focus from the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers onto those Trollhammer Torpedoes, which is going to be a great choice. That's going to do some serious work on those guys. The single target mode does have some very good armor piercing. So with the Trollhammer Torpedo still advancing, Alarielle is going to be going after the Runesmith here. She's got her cane out, and he just karate Dawi kicks one of these archers. And she comes in the back and gets some pretty good damage, but the Trollhammer Torpedoes just doing their thing. But the archers are going to have to run into melee. So combat sets. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. 18, 26, 24, and 20, 27, and 20. But the name of the game is really going to be that 125 armor. So they're just going to be going fisticuffs. But what an even game. You can see back here the cannon is still online as well, which is going to be a huge, huge help. And I'm not sure where the cannon is shooting. Maybe we can watch for a second and see where it's targeting. So it kind of like gets lost in this terrain a little bit, but it's probably going after Alarielle, I would imagine. So she's actually being chased down by the Runesmith now. He does have 32 against her 36 speed. She is actually exhausted, and he is exhausted as well. So they're going to have some trouble catching one another. Trollhammer Torpedoes are going to be falling back as the archers do chase him. And just an absolutely insane game. You can see the bounce of power actually creeping back towards the middle for the High Elves as the archers are able to press up on the Dwarves right now. Man, this is so close. Are there any Dawi rallying? Are there any Elves rallying? So over here we have some White Lions. We have some Dwarf Warriors here that are pretty much offline. 3 Swordmasters, 15, and it looks like 10 right there. So I don't think there's going to be any reinforcements for the Elves or the Dwarves. For the Dwarves, the best thing that could happen is they get these 19 Dwarf Warriors back who did just come back, which is going to be super helpful. The Dragonback Slayers, there's only one model left. This guy's, definitely, satisfying the grudge against some of these Elves. He's probably going to get a couple more kills, maybe. No, he just gets decapitated by that archer. So, and what an inglorious way to go. It's like, they just want to like seek this glorious doom and just to have your head cut off by a High Elf archer. Probably the worst way to kind of fulfill the grudge there. But anyways, the Irondrakes with the Trollhammer Torpedo scooting up, maybe looking to get some pot shots on the Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers, but unfortunately the Bolt Thrower is able to fend them off. Over here you can see the Runesmith is running, so the High Elves definitely in pretty good shape. The Radiant one is going to be chasing down the Runesmith, and what do the Dwarves have left? I mean, this cannon. Oh, look at that downtown, just kind of broadside shot going down the formation of the archers as they do try and chase the Irondrakes. And look at this, Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crew is actually just chasing the Dwarves right now. Everyone just throwing everything they have. And if these Dwarf Warriors can come back in, I mean, they are wavering, they're at -2, and they break and they shatter, which is going to be catastrophic for the Dawi. And it looks like Alarielle is actually going to be able to chase off this Runesmith, which is definitely a very good play here from the High Elves, making sure to chase off that leadership. And in the back, we have the Irondrakes with the Trollhammer Torpedo shooting downtown against the archers. And yeah, doing their thing. But there are 2 Trollhammer Torpedoes back online. So we have 7 here, we have 8 here, and we also have a cannon. So this game certainly isn't over. I mean, a lot of these High Elf forces are very beat up, and they're mostly archers, but it's really going to depend. Can the cannon actually get enough value on the approach here? Just like one more group of anything, even like a small, tattered group of miners would be so useful against this horde of archers. So the Bolt Throwers are going to be shooting downtown against the Irondrakes with the Trollhammer Torpedoes, who are going to be hiding in the forest. And it looks like that is the last of the ammunition from the High Elves here. There's only 2 shots left on this bad boy as it does shoot. And I think it's actually going to be targeting probably the Trollhammers who are now hiding in the trees. And yes, it was. He actually lost the model there. So here comes another volley. It's going to be going into the healthier Trollhammers. And it looks like they are able to hide in the trees and mitigate that damage. And there are some Dwarfs rallying in. Look at this. The cannonball is actually able to take out Alarielle. That is so huge. And what that allows is for the Runesmith to rally. And this Runesmith, I mean, 400. Oh, and she just gets taken to pieces by that cannon. Did she get... No, she's just there. She's down for the count. But the Runesmith is now back, which is really, really bad for the High Elves, because now the cannon's just going to be blasting into these archers who are slow. They're going to be taking damage on the approach from the Irondrakes, and you can see here that this other Irondrake is back with 10 models, and suddenly, guys, we have a very even game. And if, I've called this game wrong so many times, but I mean, I think that the Runesmith coming back is going to be pretty substantial, and probably the High Elves won't have enough to deal with it. They're just going to take so much shock damage. I mean, these Irondrakes have very, very good ammunition for being 10 minutes and 50 seconds into this game. So here they come. Oh, the cannon going downtown, and it looks like it was able to hit those archers. And of course, whenever artillery is shooting something, it does have a bit of a leadership penalty if memory serves. And you can see that the archers are going to be broken off the battlefield here and they're wavering. Maybe, oh, they're wavering. It's so close, but they're going to be getting Last Samurai so hard as they do charge in here. The cannonball is now out of ammo. So the Dawi cannon crew is going to have to come and fight fisticuffs. You can see right here, he does grab the cannon crew. He's going to be running in to fight. And this is just such an insane game. So well played to both players. And the High Elves, this is vengeance for that one Slayer who got taken out by the archers. Just massive cannon volleys coming in here and just doing huge work. Oh no, but the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, this is like the one time where it's like you ever would hear that there's like some fear in the fact that the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower crew is charging you. But look at that, 29 melee defense on those bad boys. That is not bad. So the Trollhammer Torpedoes are going to be fighting in melee against the archers. Same thing going on over here. Ooh, but some crossfire coming in. That is probably going to be enough to break those guys and allow these Irondrakes to come back online. And now they're going to be getting charged by the other crew, but now the Dawi cannon crew is coming in. These guys are ready to party. 28 weapon strength is definitely no joke against these archers, and the runesmith is coming in as well with 429 HP. And if that runesmith can stack on top of his troops and give them the encouragement, I'm pretty sure that's going to be all she wrote for the High Elves. So the High Elves trying their best to kind of rally in these archers, but the Trollhammer torpedoes still have the ammunition. They've been saving it this entire game. They blast downtown, and they're able to take out a couple of those archers. And it looks like that's going to be a bit of a shattering for most of the High Elf forces as the Dawi cannon crew runs in with their axes out. These guys, their beards quite powerful. And that is going to be it. I think that's game. Let's go ahead and check this out here. You can see that over here, the crew, the Eagle Claw Bolter crew has been afflicted with the Hammer of Carrick Draz is going to be crumbling, and that's going to be the game for the Dwarfs. So what an amazing match here between these two players. Just kind of cool tactics, right? We saw bolt throwers, we saw archers, we saw Iron Drakes, Norglings, Ironbreakers, just so many unorthodox units, and it became a very close contested game. I mean, it literally came down to the two crews just going fisticuffs, running in there and just, trading those punches, which was awesome. But yeah, I mean, awesome. That was so much fun. Definitely one of the closest games we've had on the channel in quite some time. So very well played to Yumais, as well as Evenstar. Big thanks to you guys for sending in this replay, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this Dwarf vs. High Elf showdown. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.